Hey guys, Lead Pastor Steve Qualls here with 250 at 250. This is our second day. Hey listen, what we want to do is we want to focus 250 seconds on reflection over the last 250 years of us being a nation. We would not be here if it wasn't for the Lord. There's absolute no way that you and I, our forefathers, or anyone could have overcome the obstacles that we overcame if it hadn't have been for the providential hand of the Lord upon us. And that is the word that was used over and over and over 250 years ago, providence. Let's go back to 1814, the War of 1812. Let's just look at, actually we're going to be diving in a little bit over this weekend into 1812, so you'll get a little bit more of this if you're here on Sunday. But let's go to August 1814, and the British were invading Washington, D.C., invading our very own capital. And it was called the President's Mansion or the President's Manor or something like that. At the time, it wasn't called the White House. And they were on their way down Pennsylvania Avenue, burning every building they came across. They were going to burn and tried to burn down the White House. And James Madison was our president. Dolly Madison, the First Lady, she grabbed two articles and fled. One was the portrait of our first president, George Washington. One was the Declaration of Independence. And she fled just before they got there. And out of nowhere, no one can explain it. These are the miracles. This is why God's hand was upon us. A hurricane blew up out of nowhere, no warning. Torrential rains and tornadoes, not to mention just hurricane, but tornado. The tornado was so violent that it lifted their cannons. This was reported from the British troops. The roofs were being torn off. Our troops were buried beneath the rubble. We lost several of our men. Our cannons were lifted into the air and tossed and thrown several yards away. God had a way of saying, I want you to remain a nation. Why would God want us to remain a nation? Because we are the only nation that has ever been established for the sole purpose of spreading the gospel of Christ, for the sole purpose of worshiping the Lord. Now, this is what I've said for years. If you want to make God mad, get in the way of His children when they're trying to do something. So the British, their attack was never going to be warranted. It was never going to come to fruition because God saw fit that it wouldn't. He sent a torrential tornado. It's actually, you can read about it, it's called the tornado that saved Washington. And so I want to read you just a little bit about what the commanding officer, the commanding general said to a lady as he was leaving Washington. Great God, madam, is this the kind of storm to which you are accustomed in this infernal country? To which she replied, no, sir, this is a special interposition of providence to drive our enemies out of our city. That is the hand of God upon His people in miraculous ways. We wouldn't be here. We had less than a 4% chance of winning a war against the greatest nation on the face of the earth at the time, and a group of farmers won our independence. So, hey, it's 250 years. We're celebrating it. We've just given you 250 seconds.